Hello everyone. Welcome to the virtual class of Accounts of Underwriting Commission. In earlier sessions, we have discussed calculation of net liability and total liability of underwriters, specifically in case of firm underwriting is given. We have already completed calculation of commission payable to the underwriters, and at a later stage we have also discussed the final settlement with the underwriters and preparation of journal entries and ledger posting in the books of the company. Now, in this session, I would like to discuss one important question with you. That is question number 11. If you compare question number 10 and question number 11, there is only a major difference in question number 10 and question number 11. But that particular difference makes a lot of changes in the pattern of solution. That is why I would like to discuss question number 11, which is exactly similar to question number 10. I will also discuss the point of difference at the time of this discussion of our question. Jai Bharat Limited resolves to issue 1,60,000 10% preference shares of rupees 100 each at 20% premium, out of which 50% shares were taken up by the directors and the remaining shares were issued to the public. As far as underwriting is concerned, our concern is with the number of shares issued to the public. We have least concern with the numbers of shares purchased by the directors or employees of the company. We have concern as an underwriter of the company with the shares or any security issued to the public. The entire issue was underwritten as follows. Ketan 50%. Firm underwriting is also given for 8,000 numbers of shares. Kamal is responsible for 30% of the public issue, and he is also responsible for 4,000 shares in addition to his general underwriting. Karan is responsible for 20% of the shares offered to the public, and he is also responsible for additional 4,000 shares for firm underwriting. Applications were received for 72,000 shares. These 72,000 shares include applications for firm underwriting, as well as marked applications are also given with the figures of firm underwriting over here. We have discussed same thing in question number 10. But in question number 10, condition was a little bit different. Now let us check the condition of question number 11. Determine the liability of all the underwriters, assuming the benefit of firm underwriting is not given. In a question number 10, the benefit or credit of the firm underwriting was given to the underwriters. In this question, it is clearly mentioned that the company don't want to provide any kind of credit or benefit to the underwriters for their firm underwriting. And we have to calculate commission at the rate of 4%. And as per the information, we have to calculate amount of commission as well as the amount of final settlement. In addition to this, you may prepare journal entries and ledger posting in the books of the Jai Bharat Limited. So this is all about the question number 11. If you refer question number 10 and question number 11 one by one, it may be possible that you may miss out this important line. That is, the benefit of firm underwriting is not given. and our entire calculation of the answer is based on that not given. Now we have to understand the condition over here. Total number of applications received by the company is 472,000 preference shares. These applications includes applications for firm underwriting as well, because it is clearly mentioned by the examiner in our question. So before starting the solution of the problem, it is necessary for all of us to understand the question first. If you analyze the question very properly, you can interpret the message given by the examiner to us, and accordingly we can prepare our answers. After understanding the question very properly, let us move to the solution of the problem. Before starting the solution, it is necessary for us to understand the pattern of issue. Total number of preference shares issued by the company 1,60,000. As per the information given by the examiner to us, out of these 1,60,000 numbers of shares, 50% shares are purchased by the directors of the company. We have least concern with the number of shares purchased by directors of the company or employees of the company. As an underwriter, I have concern with the number of shares issued to the public, and here total number of shares issued by the company to the public is 50% of the total issue, that is 80,000 shares. Now if you focus on the ratio or percentage of the underwriting, you can easily calculate the number of shares underwritten by Ketan, Kamal and Karan. Number of shares underwritten by Ketan 40,000, Kamal 24,000 and Karan 16,000. In a previous session, some of the students made a mistake that they have directly calculated a percentage of that 1,60,000. We need not to calculate the percentage of total number of shares issued by the company. We have to calculate the percentages of number of shares issued to the public. So 40,000 shares for Ketan, 24,000 shares for Kamal and 16,000 shares underwritten by Karan. Let us move to the condition given over here. Just to attract, just to make you attentive, I have written on full slide that here the credit or benefit of the firm underwriting is not given to the underwriters. So we have to calculate everything accordingly. In question number 10, that is our previous session, the credit was given, and that therefore you can consider that each and every information was given by the examiner to us in a ready-made form. But here we don't want to provide any kind of credit to the underwriters. That is why we need to enter into one more calculation, that is marked application except firm underwriting. Why? Because credit for firm underwriting is not given to the underwriters. If you refer your question very carefully, you may realize that the examiner has provided information regarding marked applications including firm underwriting. You can say that the examiner has given information to us for total marked applications. Total marked applications that we have used in earlier sessions is equal to marked applications plus firm underwriting. So on the basis of the information given by the examiner, you can easily judge that information related to marked applications including firm underwriting is given to us. It means if you want to provide credit or benefit of firm underwriting to the underwriters without any kind of calculation, you can prepare a statement showing liability of the underwriters that we have prepared in previous session. That is at the time of solution of question number 10. Here only the condition is different. So we don't want total marked applications. We want only marked applications. So we have to calculate marked applications using the calculation. Name of the underwriter as a first column. Marked application, that is not given to us over here. Application for firm underwriting, it is also given to us by the examiner in the question. And total marked application means marked applications including firm underwriting, it is also given by the examiner to us. Just recall the earlier sessions when we had calculation of total marked applications, specifically when we have given credit or benefit to the underwriters for firm underwriting. Here we have to calculate marked applications because the figure of only marked application is not given. So for the purpose of understanding, I have given X to the total marked applications and I have given code Y to the firm underwriting. So you can easily calculate only marked applications or marked applications except firm underwriting, because we don't want to give any kind of benefit to underwriters for firm underwriting. So how to calculate? Very simple. That is X minus Y. Total marked applications minus firm underwriting is equal to only marked application. Or you can say that marked applications received by the company from the public only. It does not include any application from the underwriters for their firm underwriting. So we have to calculate these things before calculation of net liability. Let us start our calculation. If you check your question very properly, then you can easily find out that total number of applications received by the company including firm underwriting is 28,000. On the other hand, Ketan has given firm underwriting for 8,000 shares. So 28,000 minus 8,000. So marked applications received by the company with the unique identification stamp of underwriter Ketan is for 20,000 shares. Now let us move to the second underwriter, Kamal. Total marked applications including firm underwriting received by the company for 11,200 shares, of which 4,000 shares are considered for firm underwriting. So 11,200 minus 4,000. So marked applications are received from the public 7,200. And third and last underwriter, Karan. Total number of applications received by the company with the mark of Karan 12,800. It includes 4,000 applications for firm underwriting made by Karan himself. So marked applications received by the company from the public only is 8,800. Here we have to calculate only marked applications before calculation of net liability. I hope this point is clear. After discussion of these important calculation related to marked applications received by the company except the applications of firm underwriting, because benefit or credit of firm underwriting is not given to the underwriters. Let us move to the calculation of net liability of underwriters. For your reference, I have already inserted the title over here that benefit of firm underwriting is not given. So we have to keep this thing in your mind. Particular Ketan, Kamal and Karan in total. Gross liability as per agreement. We have completed calculation of gross liability. 40,000 for Ketan, 24,000 for Kamal and 16,000 for Karan. In total 80,000 less marked applications. We have already completed our detailed calculation for marked applications over here, because it is the question where condition is given for not giving a credit. So we have to calculate only marked applications. As per our calculation, marked application for Ketan is 20,000, Kamal 7,200 and Karan 8,800. Total number of marked applications received by the company for 36,000. Remaining liabilities of all three underwriters: 20,000 for Ketan, 16,800 for Kamal and 7,200 for Karan. Total 44,000. Now we have to distribute our unmarked applications to the underwriters. Here all three underwriters are in need of applications. So we have to distribute unmarked applications among the underwriters in the ratio of their gross liability. At this point of discussion, I would like to inform you that as per the rule, we have to distribute unmarked applications among underwriters using their gross liability ratio. So don't think anything without interpretation of the information given by the examiner in our question. Let us refer the question again. When you recall the question, you can easily connect the information that total number of applications received by the company for 72,000 numbers of shares, and marked application when credit is not given 36,000 that we have completed earlier. So 72,000 minus 36,000 is equal to 36,000. These 36,000 unmarked applications transferred to Ketan, Kamal and Karan in the ratio of their gross liability, that is 5:3:2. So 18,000 shares are transferred to Ketan, 10,800 to Kamal and 7,200 to Karan. After distribution of unmarked applications, remaining liability of Ketan for 2,000 shares and Kamal for 6,000 shares. Karan is not required to purchase any share for his gross liability is concerned, or you can say general liability is concerned. But don't forget that in addition to general liability, Ketan, Kamal and Karan agreed upon for a few shares as firm underwriting. So we have to add applications for firm underwriting or firm underwriting given by each underwriters to the company. Ketan has given assurance for 8,000 shares as a firm underwriting, Kamal for 4,000 shares and Karan for 4,000 shares. So total liability of Ketan is to purchase 10,000 shares, Kamal 10,000 shares and Karan is responsible to purchase 4,000 shares. So in total, 24,000 numbers of shares purchased by all three underwriters altogether. After discussion of calculation related to total liability of the underwriters, let us move to the next part of our solution as required in this question. Next calculation is all about calculation of underwriting commission. As you all know that we are calculating underwriting commission payable to the underwriters in form of a structured table. Underwriter, number of shares underwritten, issue price per share, because it is clearly mentioned in the question that 4% commission is payable on issue price, total amount and commission at the rate of 4%. Ketan, as per the gross liability of Ketan, he is responsible to purchase 40,000 shares. Issue price per share is rupees 120, 100 rupees for face value plus 20%, that is 20 rupees for premium. So total 120. Total amount 40,000 shares multiplied by 120 is equal to 48 lakhs, and 4% of these 48 lakhs is rupees 1,92,000. The calculation of a commission payable to the underwriter is very simple, that we are calculating right from the initial stage of our practical problems. Kamal. Gross liability of Kamal is to purchase 24,000 shares at the rate of 120. Total amount 28 lakhs 80,000, and 4% of this 28 lakhs 80,000 equals to 1,15,200. Third underwriter is Karan. 16,000 shares underwritten by Karan at the rate of rupees 120. So total amount underwritten by Karan is rupees 19 lakhs 20,000. 4% of this 19 lakhs 20,000 is 76,800. So the underwriting commission payable to the Ketan is rupees 1,92,000, Kamal 1,15,200, and Karan 76,800. And total underwriting commission payable by the company is rupees 3,84,000. This calculation is quite common and simple, that we are using right from the initial level of the discussion of practical problems related to accounts of underwriting commission. Let us move to the last part of our answer as required by the examiner for this question. It is all about final settlement with underwriters. In order to settle the account with the underwriters, we have to prepare a structured table with 6 different columns. First column, underwriter. Second, total liability of underwriter, that we have already completed in the calculation of the table of liability. Issue price per share, amount receivable from underwriter. It is nothing more than multiplication of total liability of underwriter and issue price per share. Amount of commission payable to the underwriters. We have completed a calculation of commission payable to the underwriters just before a few minutes. And last item is a final settlement. First underwriter, Ketan. As per the calculation of total liability of underwriters, Ketan is responsible to purchase 10,000 shares. Issue price is 120, 100 rupees for capital and 20 rupees for premium. So total amount receivable by company from Ketan is rupees 12 lakhs and 1,92,000 payable to Ketan as underwriting commission. So in order to settle the account, the company will receive 10 lakhs 8,000 from underwriter Ketan. Second underwriter is Kamal. 10,000 shares to be purchased by Kamal for his total liability at the rate of 120, so total amount 12 lakhs. Underwriting commission payable to the Kamal 1,15,200. So in order to settle the account with Kamal, the company will receive 10,84,800. And last underwriter is Karan. Karan is responsible to purchase 4,000 shares only at the rate of rupees 120. So total amount receivable by the company from Karan is rupees 4,80,000. Amount of commission payable to Karan is 76,800. So in order to settle the account with Karan, company will receive 4,03,200 from Karan. I hope the calculation of final settlement with underwriters is also clear to you. As per the requirement of this question, the examiner instructed us to prepare our answer up to the stage of final settlement with underwriters. But using this information, you may prepare journal entries as well as ledgers in the books of the company. Thank you. God bless you. Keep watching the next sessions.